Hey FlatsClass fans, Captain CA here, and I'm pretty excited about a new NED profile that was launched at ICAST 2022, and I've been dying to employ it and put it into action with clients and whatnot. And on a recent trip here with my good friend and longtime client Robert Mealy, I finally got to do it. And what a sight fishing bait it is. Now you got to have the right tackle to be able to deliver this bait to the fish, but it's one of those NED profiles that they can't say no to. Now you go take a look at this live action with Robert and I from our trip the other day, and I'm going to go up here to the shop and get some of the tackle broke down for you. And we're going to talk about how I'm going to change your sight fishing game. It's true. This episode of FlatsClass YouTube is brought to you by Aquatraction, your go-to solution for advanced marine flooring. Caught some grass, foul.
Sun wants to come out.
Yeah. Well, micro fishing here. That's the first time you got to present the salty net and it caught a fish immediately. I mean, he didn't even hesitate.
No, he didn't. I thought he was swimming away.
Yeah, you didn't even get to see him eat it. He moved at it so quick. But once I saw the line cutting through the water, I could barely turn around fast enough. But that is just an absolute, I'm gonna say, lead pipe lock bait when you're catching redfish, is that little salty Ned shrimp.
I'm a believer.
It is an unbelievable little bait. First chance to get to throw it. I mean, we threw the kitchen sink there for a while and could not catch anything. We went from topwater to spoons to jerk shads, everything, and got nothing but rejection. First time we tie this on, instant success. Instant success. Never even, there was no doubt. Is that not the perfect little setup for it too?
It is. I just keep thinking about 8-pound brace.
You're okay.
This is not a small fish.
No, it's a respectable, or what I would call typical for this area.
I feel like I'm wrapped around it.
Yeah, it's okay. I think you're gonna be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and put us down here, and then we'll get down there and free this guy up. Salty Ned shrimp. Nicely done. Nicely done. it's nice to have that kind of footage to go along with these great fishing tips and product reviews. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've been looking forward to having a little shrimp like this in a Lazatech for a long time. I've been bugging them for it for a long time because we've had to make do with a lot of the freshwater shapes when we needed to Ned rig in saltwater. And I think we've got some real hope of maybe even getting a crab one day. I don't know that to be true, but after the kicker crab being so successful, I could definitely see the kicker crab becoming a salty Ned crab. Are you feeling me? I mean, put the pressure on Z-Man. Get him to do that, because I think that can work. You heard it here first. But in the meantime, like this is my Ned box. When I open this little BUZBE up and you look inside there, and I'll give you a top view, B-roll view of this, but I'll just show you what's in my Tough Bite box. In the past, I've been using a lot of these ticklers. This is, you know, kind of a fiddler crab look, and then I have a few shrimpy looks like the bubble gut and whatnot. And I like using the tickler bait, works great. And then I've got some what I call the bugs. You know, I pull them apart right here, and it's kind of a creature bait from Z-Man. It's got all those little ribs on it if you look real close, and I can get Procure on those and soak them, almost dead stick them if you will, and do extremely well. And then there's the TRD Craws, which looks a lot like a crab. This is green pumpkin. I do very well with this one on saltwater redfish and whatnot. And then there's the go-to, and has been for me for a long time when I'm mimicking glass nose and stuff, and that's the Slim Swims. You know, you get to see the Slim Swims profile here. These for the most part are from 2.5 inches to 2 3/4 inches. So that's what you're looking at most of the time. But when we came out with these sexy guys, these ShrimpZ, these are so cool. I mean, they are very cool. They got all those tiny little appendages that give it lots of action between the antenna and the legs themselves. And rigged properly and fished properly, these get a lot done with the Tough Bite. I can tell you, if you got a Tough Bite, these are definitely going to score for you. But you got to know what terminal tackle you're going to rig them with. So generally the terminal tackle that I rig them with are like finesse shrooms. I don't know if you can see that. That's a 1/10 of an ounce jig head, fine wire. I like the fine wire. Probably my favorite way to rig it is on the finesse bullets. This is a really good rigging system. It's Texas rig. You can drag these shrimp along the bottom, through the grass, over the shell bars with very little trouble. And when I really want to swim the bait or pop the bait and get tons of action out of the shrimp in many of the Ned rigs, I'll use this little finesse. This is the Texas Eye finesse, which is very fine wire, very lightweight. Most of these weighted, smaller finesse terminal tackle, most of this, honestly, is about 1/10. So by the time you made it up with, and I'll rig one for you here. Let me rig it on the Pro Bullets because that's the way I had it in the video. If I were to rig one, I'm going to say your total weight's probably going to be close to 1/8, really. Probably be real close to 1/8, 3/32. And you can see how clean that is. Look how clean that is. That is so clean. Can you imagine working that over a grass flat through the potholes? That's just gonna wipe them out. And that's watermelon red. And we'll talk about some of my favorite colors here in a minute. But first, I think I need to show you the setup that you're gonna need to cast this on. So for me, I'm casting it on a Zodius rod. And try not to Bill Dance anything in here. If you look real close, you'll see the model number right there. This is a light action rod. It's a 7-foot light action rod. It'll throw anything from like 3/32 all the way up probably to close to a half an ounce, I would imagine. I've got a little 2000 Vanford on this. That's what Robert was throwing in this episode of FlatsClass YouTube. And I've got it spooled up with 8-pound, but that's only because I ran out of 6-pound. I went through all my 6-pound, so I put 8 on this. But I really like it on 6-pound. I think you can get a lot smoother cast with 6-pound braid versus throwing it on 8. Even 5-pound Power Pro would be really excellent for this. I like the lighter weight reel just because you can feel more. And the Zodius rod is a real sensitive rod. It's got a lot of pop for a light action rod. And believe it or not, I'm not a big fan of these split grip handles, but this is what we call the monocoque rod handle on the Zodius. We have it on this rod, we have it on the X Pride B, I believe. But when you're working this, you can feel every little tick or tap. And when you're fishing that little stuff, it's really important that you have a lot of feel. Super important. The other thing you're going to need to know is you can't have heavy leader material on this. I have about 3.5 feet of 15-pound to I even throw 12-pound leader when I'm throwing these really small, salty Ned rigs. And just a little setup like this will catch you so many fish. I mean, so many fish, but it's gotta have that right, proper, balanced delivery system or you can't cast these things very far. So you need it. I'm a technical fisherman, so to me, this is kind of old hat. But if you love fly fishing, you're gonna love Ned rig fishing because there's nothing any closer to fly fishing in the backcountry than Ned rig fishing. Now, let me show you a quick top shot of my box here, and then we're gonna go back to the action.
Putting the outdoors to the test. Wow, it just doesn't look like any water. There is a little daylight on the other side.
Just gotta hope I can get through up top. Sticking. I got stuck somewhere. Probably on my, looks like it's on my...
The tower?
Yeah. Little Tom Sawyer hook fin.
I can't believe the boat's floating in this.
It's pretty crazy.
There's a wind in my face. Let's try.
Try.
It's right at him. Actually,
Oh, you hopped it too hard. If you would have just hopped it, like just kind of dragged it, I think you would have got.
something just ran into the line. Little fish, I guess. Did you see him swim out?
Bad. You see it? Oh, did he get it? No.
Yep.
I saw him go down. Way to catch the tailor, man.
Nice.
Nice. Another perfect
another
example.
one.
Yeah. Perfect example of the little soft presentation you can get out of that salty Ned shrimp. Nice. I mean, these are tough conditions. So, and you wouldn't think to throw a lure like this, but it definitely works. I'm gonna go ahead. Not as big.
Still probably 20 something.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I
That's right. We forced the Hell's Bay Eldora way back into places to try to find some fish that probably had never seen any of these baits before, and it was a lot of fun. It was fun having someone willing to do this with me. You can't do this with every client. You can only do it with certain clients that are willing to, there's going to be spiders in the boat. There's going to be all kinds of trash and stuff, and you get nicked up a little bit. What you didn't see is we actually hauled the boat over 2 zones where we had to get out of the boat and lift it and push it in there. That's how far back we were in there. But if you really want to do some backcountry fishing, that's what you got to do. So I told you I'd tell you some of my favorite colors. Some of my favorite colors aren't even in this box, but I love watermelon red. Watermelon red and the salty Ned shrimp, that's what this whole video is about, is how deadly the salty Ned shrimp really is. Watermelon red, #1. We were throwing new penny in this episode of YouTube, and we were throwing the new penny because the water was kind of rusty. And we had some overcast skies that made sight fishing tough, and that's just a little bit more, it's a brighter bait that pops a little bit more. So we were using that one. Root beer gold would be another excellent color in the salty Ned shrimp. Beer run and Laguna shrimp, well, those would be perfect too for a lot of beach fishing, pompano fishing. There's so much you can do with these baits. Really start thinking about it. When we think of salty Ned rigging, we think of catching redfish. That's what we think of. We think of sight fishing reds. But you can catch juvenile tarpon on these baits. You can catch dock-like snook on these baits and trout. You could probably fish, like I said, pompano on drop shot rigs, or even residential canal trout with these things on drop shot rigs for sure, and catch as many as you want. Really think about it. If you have some 4 or 5 pound braid on this setup that I showed you, you could probably catch a bonefish on the salty Ned shrimp, which will be one of my goals this year to do that. Got to get down to Biscayne and give that a try. But hopefully this was an entertaining video for you guys, and it was also an educational video, because these things are going to be perfect for spooky fish, for clear shallow water fish. They're going to be perfect for downsizing during the winter bite. They're going to be great for matching the hatch when you get all those little ghost shrimp popping in the lights at night, or on the beach, or along the marsh. They're always going to be perfect for that. That's what this whole Ned system is. And like I said, I'm going to work on Z-Man to really try and get our great little kicker crabs that we love in that 4-inch size. I'm going to try to get them to shrink that down to about 2.5 or 2 3/4. Because if it was that small, oh Lord, I think we could catch everything. Really happy about working with Z-Man on so many projects, because that ElasTech proprietary material is just so superior to typical plastisol, polyvinyl type baits that just don't have the action or the buoyancy that these baits have. So amazing stuff that they've got over there, and they've got a great design guy now in Jose Chavez over there. So you're going to see some really cool stuff coming out. All right, if you're learning stuff here at FlatsClass TV and FlatsClass YouTube, come on, give me that double thumbs up. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for you to smash that subscribe button and tell all your friends this is the place to come for inshore fishing tips. Until next time, I'm going to be out there on the water throwing this salty Ned shrimp. I promise you that.